What's up, everybody? How's it going? Welcome back to another live stream from the Scalar Learning Channel. I'm Huzaifa, as always, and we are continuing with our SAT prep week. We're getting down to it. We've got a few more days left before Saturday, and we got 3 live streams, including today. 4 live streams left, including today, but 3 after today. So we're going to be knocking out the October 2018 official SAT in the US version. We're going to be hitting the international version later this week, actually it's tomorrow. And today we're going to be doing the calculator section. If you're new to these live streams and you're new to the channel, I'm going to be doing this in real time, meaning I'm going to set a timer. Let me do that right now. And usually the idea is I'm doing these problems for the first time, like I'm taking it blind so you can see me problem solve in real time. This is actually not the case here because I took this SAT in October. I took the actual SAT, an official one, in October. So I have seen this one before. Whoops. Let me just make, it is 55 minutes. I just want to make absolutely certain that it's 55 minutes. I always am double checking myself on the times just so I don't make a mistake here. Yeah, 55 minutes. 38 questions. Okay, so here we go. I got a calculator right here set up in case I need it. Without further ado, we're going to bang out the entire math section. Ready, set, and begin. A helicopter initially hovering 40 feet above the ground begins to gain altitude rate of 21 feet per second. So it's, look, we're turning this into a linear equation. Of course, since it's saying it's starting at 40, that's my y-intercept, and then it's increasing at 21 feet per second, which is my time. So every time this increases by 1, the whole height goes up by 21. So here's the equation, 40 plus 21t. They just rearrange the 40 and the 21, but it's the same thing. Okay, next. A text messaging plan charges a flat fee of $5 per month for up to 100 text messages plus 25 cents for each additional text message sent that month. Which of the following graphs this? Okay, so look, we're at this actually makes a lot of sense. We're at $5, $5, then we hit 100, and then we're going 25 cents added on to the $5. I'm guessing A is actually going to be correct. Let's see the other ones. So B is, it shouldn't go down. This makes no sense because we're hitting $5 straight until 100. That makes no sense. So it's definitely A. Just finding something that maps to that progression. Jake buys a bag of popcorn in a movie theater. He eats half of the popcorn during the 15 minutes of previews. After eating half the popcorn, he stops eating for the next 30 minutes. So 15 minutes, and then he eats half, and then he stops for 30 minutes. So the level should stay the same for 30 minutes. Then he gradually eats the popcorn until he spills the remaining popcorn. Okay, this one is immediately out because this is not spilling. This is all of a sudden refilling the popcorn, so that makes no sense. Now let's see this next one. These two just don't make sense because this would imply that he got more popcorn in at some point, which they never said he did. He's eating it. So the amount of popcorn should be dropping, right? So he eats a bunch, and then for 15 minutes, and then 30 minutes he doesn't eat anything, and then he gradually eats more and then spills it. So I can already say, oops, that B has to be the answer. Next, number 4. Boom, what is the value of 3x, not x, 3x? So let's solve for x. I'm going to add x to both sides because I don't like dealing with negatives. So now it's 20 equals 15 plus x, and then I'm going to isolate x by subtracting 15, and x equals 5. Oh, no, I almost made my own mistake. What is the value of 3x? 3 times x is 15. Woo, okay, got to be careful there. Next is this. For the function, what is the value of f of negative 1? Meaning, all this is saying is function notation. Negative 1 is being plugged in for x. So it's negative 1 plus 3 over 2. Negative 1 plus 3 is 2 over 2, which is 1. C. Next. Which of the following is equivalent to this guy? All right, let's jump over and distribute. That's all we're doing here. 2x times x squared is 2x cubed. 2x times negative 3x. Multiply the coefficients as 6, and then the x's as x squared, and there's your final answer. 2x cubed minus 6x squared. Remember, you see something like this, just instinctively FOIL. That's usually what they want you to do. Next is, and if you saw it foiled, you should instinctively factor. Next, a retail company has 50 large stores located at different areas throughout the state. A researcher for the company believes that employee job satisfaction varies greatly from store to store. Which of the following sampling methods is most appropriate to estimate the proportion of employees who are satisfied? Selecting one of the 50 stores at random and then surveying each employee at that store. This is not bad. I like that, the random. Selecting 10 employees from each store at random and then surveying each employee selected. That's actually better because now we're doing it's more varied across all the stores. So I like that better than A. Surveying the 25 high. No, we're immediately biasing to the highest paid and the lowest paid. So that's no good. Creating a website on which employees can express their opinions and then using the no, because you're biasing the first 50 people that are proactive. So I'm going with B. 10 employees from each store at random. That language is very important. And then surveying those employees. Next, 8. Total amount deposited. So we've got Ian and Jeremy number of weeks. Show the amount. These graphs show the amounts that Ian and Jeremy each have deposited into their savings account for the first 7 weeks after opening their accounts. Okay, after they made their initial deposits, how much more did Ian deposit each week? Okay, look. Each week, Ian is depositing, clearly, this is a week, and he's going from 100 to 200. So Ian's depositing, 100 each week. And Jeremy is depositing, it looks like it's going up 50. Because see, he's going up 100 in 2 weeks. So Ian's doing 50 each week, so he's doing 50 more per week. That's it. This function defined above, what is h of 5 minus h of 3? Okay, let's plug 5 into this, evaluate it, and then plug 3 in afterwards, and subtract the value of 5 from the value of 3. So if I plug 5 in, it's 2 to the 5th minus 3, 2 to the 3rd. 2 to the 5th is, use your calculator, it's 32. 2 to the 3rd is 8. Okay, and 32 minus 8 is 24. A researcher surveyed a random sample of students using blah, blah, blah. See how often they see movies. Using the sample data, the researcher estimated that 23% of the students in the population saw a movie at least once per month. The margin of error is 4%. Which of the following is most appropriate conclusion? Margin of error means that it could likely either be as low as 19%, minus 4, and as high as 27%, we add 4. So this is the real range. It is unlikely that less than 23% of the students see a movie. No, I mean, it's not, because we got that margin of error. I wouldn't say that. It is at least 23, but no more than 25 see a movie. No, because the margin of error gives us up to 27%. The researcher is between 19 and 27% sure that most students see. Wait, that. No. No. This is so wrong. What am I talking about? He's not 19 and 27% sure that most students see. No. It is plausible that the percentage of students who see a movie at least once, it's between 19 and 27. All right, this is D. C threw me off. This is like talking about his certainty. This has nothing to do with his level of certainty. It's between 19 and 27 that see a movie once a month. Number 11. The table above shows 2 lists of numbers. Which of the following is true statement comparing list A and B? 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5. The means are the same. The standard deviations are different. The mean of this one is 3.5. The mean of this one is 6. You should use a calculator for this, by the way. 6, 10, 14, 16, 21 divided by 6 is also 3.5. So the means are the same. So the means are not different. Okay. The standard deviations are definitely different. These are more closely packed together. So the standard deviations are different. And the means are not different, so that's out. So it's got to be A. Standard deviation, I mean, we could calculate it, but it would take a long time. You don't need to. Just think about it as the measure of how close together the values are, how spread out. If standard deviation is smaller when they're more closely packed together, like here. Okay, 13 and, 12. A book was on sale for 40% of its original price. So it was, and the sale, so it was 60% of the original if it's 40% off. So 60% of the original is the sale price, which is They're saying is $18. What was the original price? Isolate X. See how we just set that up nicely? And if you use a calculator, it's like 18 divided by 6, which is 3, and then add a 0 because it's divided by 0.6. So the original price was 30. And you can recalculate that. You can say, well, what's 40% of 30? It's 12. And we know we got the right answer. All right, number this one. Insect count for 3 pesticide treatments. 3 colonies of insects were each treated with different pesticides over an 8-week period to test the effectiveness of the 3 pesticides. Colony A, B, and C were treated with pesticide A. What? Oh, with A, B, and C respectively. Got it. Colony A, B, and C. Oh, got it. So A was treated with A, B was treated with B, and so on. The bar graph above shows that the insect counts for the 3 colonies 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8 weeks afterwards. So one of them, like colony C, it like shot up and then slowly went down and then went just below the original value. This one, A went steadily down, B went pretty steadily down, and then ended at maybe the lowest. Which of the following colonies showed a decreased size every 2 weeks after the initial treatment with the pesticide? So every 2 weeks. I would say B did. B did, and so did A. Not C. So A and B. So 1 and 2 only. Next, of the following, which is closest to the ratio of the total number of insects in all 3 colonies in week 8 to the total number of insects at the time of initial, so week 0. So I'm just marking that down. So, actually, let's say week 8 to week 0. And week 8 is, let's see. So total insects is 20, 30 maybe. And then this is another 50, so 80. And week 0 is, let's say these two are both like average out to be 60. So 120 plus 80 is 200. And hold on, I think it says which is closest. So we got 200. And then a ratio we can reduce just like a fraction. Divide them both by 10, 20 to 8. And then divide them both by 4. And it's, I'd say 5 to 2. Oh, sorry. In week 8 to the total number of insects at initial treatment. What? Oh, I did it backwards. Sorry. It's 2 to 5. 8 is in week 8, not 0. This should be the other way around. This is 0. This is 8. But they wanted it from 8 to 2, so it is 2 to 5, which is this guy. Next, a right circular cone. So on the real test, this is the one I remember really well because I got this one wrong, and I was so mad. A right circular cone, I read it as cylinder. Okay. Has a volume. So what is the formula for a volume of a cone? It's 1/3, and this is actually on the SAT, which is why it was so embarrassing I got it wrong. 1/3 pi r squared times height. Okay. Has a volume of, and so this would equal volume, but they give us the volume, so I'm going to put in 24 pi. And if the height of the cone, okay, now watch this. They're giving us all these nice values, so we're going to plug them in. If the height of the cone is 2, what is the radius of the base of the cone? So then 1/3 pi, and then we're solving for r. First of all, I'm going to divide both sides by pi. Those go away. I'm going to multiply both sides by 3 to get rid of the 1/3, and then that becomes 72. So 2r squared equals 72. And then divide both sides by 2 to get rid of that. R squared equals 36. Square root of those two to isolate r, and r equals 6. So it's a radius of 6. I put this one. This is the right answer if it wasn't a cone, if it was a cylinder, which I forgot the 1/3. I'll never forget that question. Next, in 2015, the populations of city X and city Y were equal. From 2010 to 2015, okay, so 2015, X and Y are the same. Let's just call them Z, I guess. I don't know. And then in from 2010 to 2015, city X increased by 20%. So this here was, if it increased, it was, hold on. What is that point? Sorry. 1.2x. Oh, whatever. So fine. It increased by 20%, and this one went down by 10%. If city X was 120,000 in 2010, and then it increased by 20%. So this is positive 20%. I was trying to think too abstract. So this is increased by 20%, which is 24,000. It's 0.2 times this. So it's 24,000, which is 144,000. What was the population of city? And so city Y is also, because it said they're equal in 2015, is also 144,000. So then what is this one? Well, this guy, whatever Y was in 2010, it's got to be bigger than 144, right? Because it's city Y, it said decreased by 10%. So these two are already out. It's probably, it is this one. It's this one but the way we'd set it up is we'd say 0.9 times X, which is whatever this was here, equals 144,000, because we're saying it's gone down by 10%, meaning it's 90% left. So 90% of whatever was in 2010 gives me the 2015, and then I'll prove it. If we do 144,000 divided by 0.9, we get 160. There we go. Okay, next. The volume of a sphere is given by that formula, blah, blah, blah. Which of the following gives the radius of the sphere in terms of the... Okay, isolate R. That's all they're doing. Radius of the sphere. So we've got R cubed pi equals... Oops. 4/3 equals V. First, I'm going to... hold on. First thing, I want to get rid of the 4/3. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 3/4. Reciprocal. That goes away. Then I'm going to divide, so now I have 3v over 4 equals pi r cubed. Then I'm going to divide both sides by pi. So the pi comes here. And then I want to get rid of the cube, so I'm going to take the cube root of this side. And it's the cube root of 3v over 4 pi. It's this guy. Next. Survey results. The table shows the survey in which tablet users were asked how often they would watch video advertisements in order to access streaming content for free. Would watch video. Okay. Never, rarely, often, always. Which of the following is close to the probability that a tablet user answered always given... Wait. That a tablet user answered always... Oh, got it. So we're saying, assuming that this is, we know that the never is out of the category, out of the running. Assuming that he didn't answer never. So what is the probability that they would say always out of this universe? Which is, we could just say 30.9. We don't even have to convert it to decimal, over that universe of 30.9 plus 13.5 plus 24.3. 30.9 plus 13.5 plus 24.3 equals 68.7, and then we do 30.9 divided by that. 30.9 divided by second answer, 0.45, let's say, and it's right there. Boom. Makes sense, guys? Hopefully it does. Hopefully you guys on Instagram are going to jump. You can jump to my YouTube channel at Scalar Learning if you want to see the live stream through YouTube. Next, in the equation above, A is constant. The graph of the equation is a parabola, of course. Which of the following is true about the parabola? Okay, first of all, it's negative in front, so I already know it's going like this. And it doesn't have a minimum because that's negative. It has a maximum. And the maximum occurs, this is in vertex form. So the vertex is at 3, comma A. Because that's vertex form. Whatever the x is subtracting, it's the x value of the vertex, and then that's the y value. So it's 3, comma, and it's positive because it's x minus plus. So maximum occurs at 3A, and that's it. That's all we need to know. If this were positive, then it would be a minimum. Next, the maximum value of data set consisting of 25 positive integers is 84. A new data set consisting of 26 integers is created by including 96 in the original data set. So now the highest value is 96. Which of the following measures must be 12 greater for it's the range? Because obviously this is the increase, the biggest value has gone up by 12. So the lowest value is going to stay the same, right? If the lowest value was like, let's say 10, it was a range of 74. Now it's a range of 86. So the range has clearly gone up by 12. The median might not even change. The mean will go up marginally. 21. Blah, blah, blah. Clayton will mix X millimeters of a 10% mass saline solution with Y milliliters of 20% by mass saline in order to create 18%. Okay. That's what this equation is. It's a two-variable equation. The equation above represents a situation. If Clayton uses 100 millimeters of the 20% by mass, wait. So they're saying Y equals 100. How many milliliters of the 10 must he use? Okay, so just plug and chug. 0.10x plus 0.2 times 100. I'll just write it out. Equals 0.18 times 100 plus x. Right, we're solving for x, yeah? How much of the... Okay, good. So then it's 0.1x plus 20 equals 18 plus 0.18x. And then let's subtract 0.1x. And then let's minus 18 simultaneously. So we have 2 equals 0.08x. And then we divide both sides by 0.08. 2 divided by 0.08 is 25. So that's it. He's used 25 milliliters. And then we can plug it back in. So how many milliliters of the... Okay, so we could like plug it back in and say 25. That becomes 2.5. 100 times that is 20. So it's 22.5 on this side. And then it's 125 times 0.18. Just make sure those numbers still work. 22.5. So I just plugged my answers back in, verified, and we're good. Now, let's see. I got everything. Yeah, 21. We'll have to check later to make sure I didn't miss anything. The first year, Eleanor organized a fundraising event. She invited 30 people. The next 5 years, she invited double the number of people the previous year. 60, 120, etc. If F of n is the number of people invited to the fundraiser n years after Eleanor began the event, which of the following statements best describes it? This is 30 times 2 to the x. That's what this function is, because it's doubling each year. It's an exponential equation. So, right, 30 times 2 to the 0th year, that's 30. To the 1 year, 60. 2 to the 4, 2 to the square is 4 times 30, 120. So that's it. It's not linear. I told you it's exponential. It's increasing. Obviously, it's increasing because it's got a positive slope. It's getting bigger and bigger. That's the idea. So it's definitely that one. You don't need to even come up with that equation. I just did for, illustration's sake. Okay. We're more than halfway through, and we've only burned about 22 minutes. So time-wise, we're in really good shape. I've mentioned before that I always like to have a good 5 to 6 minutes left by the end on the last problem, but that's a lofty goal. All right, next, x. All right, some values of x and their corresponding values of y are shown in a table where a is constant. If there is a linear relationship, which of the following equations represents this relationship? Okay, straight away, the relationship, aka we need to come up with a linear equation or a slope. First of all, I already say I have a y-intercept. That's nice. Where sorry, that's not the y-intercept. That's an x-intercept. I don't have a y-intercept. That's okay. Let's calculate the slope. So we're going to take the y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. So just subtract down. 0 minus a, which is the negative a, which is the y's, over a minus 3a, which is the x's. This is positive. So now we have a over negative 2a, which reduces to negative 1/2. Boom. So that's my slope. Of course, it's not in slope-intercept form because they're making it hard on us, but that's okay. And then y equals negative 1/2 x. And then the question is, What's my y-intercept? Well, I can plug in these values, 0 and a, for x. So when y equals 0, x equals a, negative 1/2 a plus b. And we can solve for the y-intercept, b. So I'll add 1/2 a to both sides. And we can already see b equals 1/2 a. So now let's come back to our equation. B equals 1/2 a. Okay, that's my in slope intercept. These are in standard form. So let's get this in standard form. First, let's multiply everything by 2. So it's 2y equals negative x plus 2 times that is a. And then let's add x to both sides. And we get x plus 2y equals a. X plus 2y equals a. I'm trying to think if there's a shortcut, but I don't think so. I think you really have to get it to that point. All right, next. 24. The scatter plot above shows the number of registered voters, X, and the number of people who voted in the last election, Y, for 7 districts. Okay. Got it. A line of best fit is shown. Which of the following could be the equation for the line of best fit? Okay, first of all, it looks like it has a y-intercept of 60. So wait a minute. Oh, that's not the y-intercept. What am I talking about? All right, because this isn't the y-axis or the x-axis. It's going to have a y-intercept of 0 because all of them have 0. And what's the slope? So let's take these 2 points. We're going up by 10, over by 20. So it's a positive slope of 10 over 20, or 1/2. So y equals 0.5x, that guy. That's it. Sorry. 147. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. 24, right? Now it's 225. System of equations was the x-coordinate of the intersection. All right, let's solve this system. That's all we're doing. I'm going to multiply the top and bottom by 10 because I don't like the decimals. 24x minus 15y equals 3. We're allowed to do anything as long as we do it to both sides of the equation. 16x plus 5y equals negative 13. I'm going to multiply the bottom one by 3 to match up the y's, and we'll solve for the x's then. The bottom one times 3 becomes 48x plus 15y equals negative 39. And then let's bring this one down here. 24x minus 15y equals 3. Add these two together. Those cancel out. That's 72x equals negative 36. Divide by 72, divide by 72. X equals negative 1/2 or 0.5. Now, just to be safe, I could plug that in and get negative 1/2 is negative 12. So it's y should be negative 1. So if it's negative 1, so negative 1, 1.5. 1.2 minus 1. Negative 1.2 plus 1.5, 0.3. It works there. Negative 0.5, negative 0.8. I'm just verifying. Negative 0.8 minus 0.5 is negative 1.3. It works. Keith modeled the growth over several hundred years of a tree population by estimating the number of trees pollen grains per square centimeter that were deposited each year. He estimated there were 310 the first year. I already know this is an exponential equation. These ones are wrong. And the first year, and then with a 1% annual increase per square centimeter thereafter. Okay, look, here's how exponential works. Here's my initial value, it's got to go here. And then the percent change has got to go here, and time always goes up there. But this one is wrong because this would be right if it were 1% decrease each year. It says it's a 1% increase, meaning it's going above its original. So 1 would be 100%, which means it would stay. 1.01 is the same as 101%, meaning it's going up by 1% every year. And that's our answer. Okay, based on the equation above, what is the value of 3x minus 2? Boom. We don't have to actually solve for... wait, hold on. Yeah, maybe we should solve for x. Okay. Distribute the 2/3, and it's 6x minus 4 equals 9x minus 6. Okay, I'm going to subtract 6x from both sides, keep the x positive. Negative 4 make negative 8. equals 3x minus 6, add 6, add 6. 3x equals negative 2. Divide by 3, divide by 3. X equals negative 2/3, but they want 3x minus 2. So 3 times negative 2/3 minus 2. That's negative 2 minus 2, which is negative 4. 3x. Hold on. 6x minus 4. Let me just make sure that's right. So I got negative 2/3 is negative 6, negative 12, negative 8, negative 12. And then negative 2/3 is negative 6, yeah, okay, it works. And then let me just double check again. Negative 2, yeah, negative 4. Okay. Just doing it in my head to verify. Next, the function is defined above if k is positive integer. Okay, so then these are my two x-intercepts. That's what we're looking at. So my x-intercepts are whatever makes this one go to 0, which is negative 3, and whatever makes this one go to 0, k. These are my two x-intercepts. This has an x-intercept of negative 3. Oh, and it's positive in the front. So it's got to be going up, not down. So this guy is out. This guy is out also. This guy is going up, but it's out because it doesn't have the negative 3. It has a positive 3, but that's to trick you. And this one's it. So k obviously must be 2. And there we go. All right. The formula above can be used to approximate height in inches of adult male based on the length in inches of his femur. What is the meaning of 1.88? Okay. So L is the inches in of his femur. And this is basically the slope of the line. It means that every inch we have more on the femur, his height goes up by 1.88. Wait, is the height in feet? No, height is also in inches. So every 1 inch on the femur, his height goes up by 1.88. No. No. Approximate increase in a man's height in inches for 1 inch. And this is it. Just what I said, right? 31. Lynn has $8 to spend on apples and oranges. Okay. Look, I already know the system of equations. Oh, and we're into free response. Remember, I told you 31 through 34 are going to be much easier. So we've got 65 apples plus 75 cents for oranges equals 8. And if there's no tax on this purchase and she buys 5 apples, what is the maximum number of whole oranges she can buy? So plug in 5. Let's just make oranges X. Plug in 5 for apples. I'll use a calculator. It's $3.25, but just to be sure. Okay, and then we do 325 plus 0.75. X equals 8. Isolate. $4.75. Got to be a little more careful on these because there's no multiple choice. And then divide by 0.75. We're going to get a decimal. Okay, so we get 6 1/3. Now, we can't get 6 1/3 because I said how many whole oranges. Well, we can't go over the $8, so the most she can buy is 6. So we got to round down like that. Next, the triangle above, A equals 34 degrees. What is the value of B plus C? Okay, all the angles in a triangle add up to 180. So B plus C add up to whatever 180 is minus 34, which is 146. I would use your calculator just to be safe. Okay, so 146 is what those two angles add up to, and that's it. Next. See how these are a little bit easier, right? The mean of these numbers is 1600. What is the value of X? Check it out. How do we calculate mean? We add up everything divided by the number of numbers there are, which are 5, and it's equal to the mean, right? So now we solve by multiplying both sides by 5. And we have 1900, 2900, 3500, 45, 5500. What's this? Oh, it's a plus. 5,500 plus x. 5 times 1,600 is 8,000. X equals 8,000 minus 5,500, which is 2,500. And that's our X value. 2,500. We could check these numbers. 4,500, 5,500, 6,100, 7,100, 7,300, 8,000. They add up to 8,000 divided by 5, 1,600. So we know we did it right. Good. The relationship between X and Y can be written as Y equals MX. If y equals 17 when x equals a, okay. So therefore, m equals 17 over a, right? So now we can say y equals 17 over a times x. What is the value of y when x equals 2a? So now let's plug in that there. So it's y equals 17 times 2a over a. The a's cancel out. 17 times 2 is 34. Oh yeah, that makes sense. You're just doubling it, right? Yeah, it's linear. Of course, it's proportionate. Yeah, it just doubles. You don't even need to do that. Okay. Ax plus b equals 4x. And the equation above a and b are constants. If the equation has infinitely many solutions, what is the value of b? That means that these two must be the exact same. They're the equivalent statements if they have infinite solutions. So I'm going to distribute. Like I said, you should just instinctively distribute. Ax plus ab equals 4x plus 10. So these guys have to be the same, meaning that a times b has to be 10, and 4x has to equal 8x, which means that a equals 4. You see how a links up to that number in front of the variable? So if a equals 4 and a times b equals 10, that means 4b equals 10. That means b equals 2.5. That's just 10 divided by 4. 36. Now they should get harder. In the xy plane, a line that has equation y equals c for some constant. Hold on. A line that has the equation y equals c, so it's a line like this. Intersects a parabola at exactly 1 point, meaning it hits the parabola at the vertex. If it only intersects it at 1 point. Or, yeah, because it's going across, and if it's a parabola up, down, it has to hit it at the vertex. I was saying it could hit it like this in 1 point, but no. Okay, the parabola has the equation this, meaning it goes down. Whoosh. What is the value of c? Again, it's the y. So they're asking what's the value of c, and remember this is c up here, and the parabola it's whatever the vertex is, and it's the y value of the vertex. Okay, let's find the vertex. So vertex, it can be found at negative b over 2a. So negative b is negative 5. 2 times a is 2 times negative 1 in this case, which is negative 2. So those cancel out, so it's positive 5 over 2. So the x is 5 over 2. And what's my corresponding y? I got to plug it in for my equation. So y equals negative 5 over 2 squared plus 5 times 5 over 2. This is 25 over 2. This is 25 over 4 negative. Which, and then let's get common denominators. I could do this on a calculator, to be honest, but. So then this becomes negative 25 plus positive 20 plus positive 50, 25 over 4, which is 6.25. I should probably check that on the calculator, right? Negative 5 over 2, and then, okay. So 2.5 squared. I know it's 6.25, but just to be safe, And then 5 times 2.25. I mean, 2.5 equals. And it's the positive version of that. I just sort of checked it, but I did it, the signs backwards, but it is positive 6.25. And you can't have a negative for these. The Peregrine Falcon can reach speed. So look how much time we have, right? And not everybody can expect to have the same pace because I do this professionally and I do this all the time. But the key is, I think by this point, if you're on 37 and 38, you should be targeting to hopefully have a few minutes to answer this, hopefully like 4 or 5. But we have a lot of extra time. Peregrine Falcon can reach speeds up to 200 miles when diving. What is the Peregrine's maximum speed while diving? And we're trying to get feet per second, so let's convert these one at a time. So first I'm going to convert miles to feet by making a equivalency. There are 5,280 miles to 1 foot. Miles cancel out. Boom, now we're in feet per hour. But now I want to get per second. So let's convert an hour to minutes first, maybe. 1 hour equals 60 minutes. Now we're into minutes. And then let's convert minutes to seconds. 1 minute is 60 seconds. Now the minutes are canceled out. Now we're there. Now we just multiply everything on top. That's 200. Wait, did I do that right? Hold on. I did that wrong. I flipped this. There's not 5,280 miles in 1 foot. There's 1 mile. There's 5,280 feet. So I flipped the values there, and because I was like, wait a minute, I'm gonna get something really small that doesn't make any sense. I knew I did something wrong. So it's 200 times 5,280 on top. 200 times 5,280 on top, which equals 1,056,000. And then on the bottom, it's 60 times 60, which is just 3,600. And then we divide, let's cross off these zeros. But actually, I've got it in my calculator, so it's easier. Divided by 3,600, just 293.3 to the nearest whole number, so 293. 29. Okay. Last problem. If a Peregrine Falcon dove at its max speed for half a mile to catch a thing, how many seconds would that take? Okay, so we already got feet per second, assuming that's right. So we've got 293, I'll say 0.3 feet per 1 second. And then we're saying how many seconds would it take to dive half a mile, which a mile is 5,280. Half a mile is 2,640. Okay, let's cross multiply. 2,640 equals 293.3x. Divide both sides by 293.3. 640. 33333, whatever it is. It's 9. Round your answer to the nearest second. So 9 seconds. Does that make sense? Hold on. So it goes 293 feet per second. So what's 9 times 293? Yeah, it's about half a mile. 5,280 should be 2,640, so it's pretty close. I'd say that's good. Okay, now I'm going to call it there. Stop the clock. Now, normally, obviously, with this time, I'd be going back over the test multiple times, checking all my work, etc. I'm not going to do that because if I got something wrong for these demonstration purposes, I'm literally just going to redo it. But let's first go ahead and check. Now, this one, it didn't come with the answer key. So I'm going to again, I said I took this one actually. I'm going to log in and look at the answer key over here. All right, this is the one. So I remember I told you I got one wrong, so that's why I got a 790 on the math. It's like craziness. I was really upset about that. And because it wasn't a particularly difficult problem, it was just like a really silly mistake. Okay. Wait, how do I get to the verb? Oh, this is reading. Math with calculator. Here we go. Oh, there's that one incorrect. Okay. So let's go through these guys. And I'm going to zoom out and correct it in red. Here we go. All right, B, A, B, C, C, D, B, C, C, D, and then B, C, C, D again, I guess. B, C, C, D. A, C, C, A. A, C, C, A. And then 15 is B, C, D, C. B, C, D, C. And then 19 is D, C, B, D. Oops. C, B, D. Okay. Then we are on to, what is that, 23? A, B, A, D. A, B, A, D, A. And that was 27 is A. And then 28 is D, D, A. Okay, D, D, A. D, oops. D, D. Oh, I missed one blank. No. Okay, let's start the clock. Darn it. Okay, let's solve it. Shoot. Okay, in the quadrilateral above, AD is parallel to BC. Okay, if these are parallel, then this is also a right angle. Okay, because it's got to be that's a theorem. This line has got to be perpendicular to both. And CD equals 1/2 AB. So if this is X, this is 1/2 X. What is the measure of angle B? This whole angle. All right. I'm gonna go and turn this into a special right triangle because I know that's what they want us to do here. And then this becomes 1/2 X. So immediately I know, and I'm making another right triangle because I'm doing this straight down as almost like an altitude, parallel to these guys. So if this is a right triangle and this little guy is half the size of my hypotenuse, I'm already knowing that this must be a 30, 60, 90, which means that, well, it doesn't matter, but this is X root 3, but it doesn't matter. I know that this angle is 60. I know that this angle is also 90, right? I kind of made a rectangle. So this entire angle B is 60 plus 90, which is 150. And that's it. Okay. Darn it. Okay. Question A, and that is 30. I know I read that out, so it's not totally authentic, but I just totally missed that. I didn't go down far enough. Okay, next is 31. So we've got 6, 146, 2500. 6, 146, 2500. Then we've got 34, 34 is 34. Huh, I didn't even notice that. And then this is 2.5. Boom. 6.25. I remember that as correct. And this is 293 and 9. Boom. All right, done. There we go. Now I'm going to open it up to questions. Let's take a look here. 24. Okay. All right, I'm going to go to the top. What will you say in the private meeting? Oh, those are old from last time. Okay, here we go. Hello, what's good? Taking the SAT, okay. Would you not recommend? Yeah, I would recommend caffeine in general, unless if you never drink caffeine, I wouldn't recommend it the day of. But if that's part of your routine, absolutely. So you want to make sure you want to follow your general routine. You want to eat healthy. I have a video about what to do the morning of. Hold on, let me find it really quickly. What to do here. So Google this, what to do the morning of the SAT. And I kind of go through the routine of everything you need to bring, what you should eat, how you should fuel your body and rest. And I mean, not rest, but how you should prepare and go in all ready to go for the SAT. All right. Whoops. What is this? Okay, next. Oh, man. Jack, your question about how much you should study, it so varies from person to person, depends on your baseline. So if you could send me your baseline and what you're scoring now, I mean, I could give you a better idea, but it totally depends. This is the, Mohammed, this is the October 2018 official USA. Taking SAT on Saturday. Yeah, I missed that, Mohammed. Yeah, I skipped 30. Thank you for letting me know. I think I'm really good at math. Yeah, it's a different process for everybody. I mean, the short answer is practice, 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 and you need to keep hammering that, keep checking, work with the tutor, etc. So you can understand. But watching these videos, I know it's helped a lot of people. You still have a good amount of time. You still have a few days. You can bump it up. 36, solve it by delta. Yeah, maybe. Okay. He will see. Okay, 35 and 36, please. So, Amar, you want me to do 35 and 36? 35, 36, 30, and 38. Okay, so I'll start with 30. Okay, so number 30, which I just did, is basically you have to recognize that you can turn it into a triangle. Without that, I believe it's impossible. So once I realized that I can kind of draw this altitude down, a lot of the SAT geometry is going to be involving triangles. So if you don't see one, it's probably a good idea to try and see how can you draw one in. So once I draw that in, and I know that CD is 1/2 of X, this line is going to be congruent to CD because I'm drawing it straight down, right? These two are parallel. These are perpendicular to those lines. They have to be the same length. And it looks like that. I mean, logically, it makes sense. So this is also 1/2 of this guy. And in a right triangle, if I have one of the legs that's half of the hypotenuse, it's got to be a 30, 60, 90. So this opposite side, since this is the half side, the small side, and this is double, then I know that this is opposite the 30, and then the 60 is up here. And then you go 60, and that's 90, 150. 30, 24. Hold on. Oops, where's 24? Here we go. Scatter plot above shows the number of lines, blah, blah, blah. Basically, we're just trying to get the equation for the line. That's it. All of these lines have there's no y-intercept, so we don't even have to think about the y-intercept, but it's obviously going to be 0 for this. Now we just need to calculate the slope, and we can do that with any 2 points. I chose these two, but let's choose different ones. So let's choose that one and this one. So this is starting at 126, so 60, I'm sorry. So going up, we're going up by 30. And to the right, we're going to the right by 20, 40, 60. So it's the change in the y over the change in the x. 30 over 60 is 1/2 or 0.5. And that's why B is the right answer. That is 24. Now we need 34, 35, 36. Okay, 34. The simple answer is that this is a linear relationship and there's no y-intercept, meaning it's not only linear, it's proportionate. When it's proportionate, it means that if I'm doubling my x value, the y value is going to double as well. That's it. So when I say a is 17, if it's 2a, it's got to be 34. What I did was I actually plugged in the values. I solved for the slope. Then I had an equation of y equals 17a over x because I found that my slope was 17 over a. And then I plugged in 2a to this value because we're saying, hey, what is y when x equals 2a? And then it's 2a times 17 over a. The a's cancel out. 17 times 2 is 34. 35 is very much where we just distribute, and then once we distribute, we see that we have ax plus b equals 4x plus 10, and they say where this has infinitely many solutions. That's the key word. That means if it's infinitely many solutions, it means that the two must have the same expressions on both sides. So that means this must be the same as this, and since the number here 4 is multiplying x, a must equal 4, and oh shoot, this is supposed to be ab, sorry. And since AB is in the same place as 10, it means that AB equals 10. And since A equals 4, we can solve for B by dividing by 4, and it's 2.5. 36. This is a hard to recognize. Oh, shoot. First of all, that we recognize that it's going down because it's negative on front. So that's why I drew it like this. Let's zoom in. And then equals anything as a horizontal line. So it can't be vertex. So we know that if it's intersecting at the vertex, this parabola, and we're good. The vertex, negative 5 is the b term, so negative 5 is negative b. Negative 1 is the a term. Times 2a. So we get negative 5 over negative 2. Negatives cancel out. So for the vertex is now 5 over 2 comma something. And what is that something? Well, now if we want the y value of the vertex, plug this in for x and evaluate it, and we get 6.25. Last but not least, in 38, we've already calculated the feet per second speed. So all I did was I set up a ratio. If I know that we go 293 feet in 1 second, I want to know how many seconds. It's a proportion. It's just equal. How many seconds will it take him to travel half a mile, which is 2,640. Once we have this, we cross multiply. Equals 293x. Divide, aka isolate, x. And it's approximately 9. All right, that is it, guys. We are done for the live stream. I think I don't know what's going on. We're getting a low quality output right now. I'm really sorry about that. Hopefully you can still read what I did. So Toka, I'm so sorry. Okay, wait, let me see 31. Maybe I can do it fast because I really got to go, guys. But 21. All we do in 21 is they give you the value of, they saying 100 milliliters of the 20%, and that's the y, because this is 20%, right? 0.2 equates to 20%. So I'm basically just plugging in 100 for y on both sides and solving for x. Equals 0.18 times x plus 100. And then I solve for x. Distribute. 0.1x plus 20. 0.2 times 100 is 20. Equals 0.818x plus 18. 0.1x plus 2. Plus 2 equals 0.18x. Subtract 0.1x. Subtract 0.1x. 2 equals 0.08x, and then we divide by 0.08. And what is that? 25. And that's what we got here. All right, guys. Yes, it's October 2018. For everybody still watching, thank you so much for watching. Please click that like button if you appreciated this and found it useful. It really, really helps me out the more likes that I get. So if you could click that, that'd be great. Leave me comments if you have additional questions. I'll try and get back to them as soon as possible. And you're very welcome. Again, subscribe if you want to see more from the Scalar Learning channel. Again, look at the schedule. We're going to be doing another live stream tomorrow, another one Thursday, and another one Friday. We're going to knock these out, get you guys ready. Friday's going to be an extra long one, and then you're ready to go. I'm taking the SAT with you on Saturday, which I'm really excited about. And after that, we're going to be doing a live stream score reveal, which will be really fun. I'm going to actually try and do a little practice for the verbal this time, which I normally don't do. So we'll see what happens there. It's just a challenge for me. Hey, Amr, you're very welcome, and thank you for saying that. I really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you all tomorrow in the next live stream. Take it easy.